right here. How about that? Hey everybody, it is Mark. I wanted to do a quick look what I just bought thing. It's not really an opening or a review. I went and bought something that I'm going to review here in a second. But I wanted to show you this. It was on sale, and it's the swing away jack. I don't know if you can see that good, and it's got the dual wheels, so it's a little better. I was hoping to get one with rubber wheels, and I might be able to switch them out, but for now this will work. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it on my bigger trailer or even just put it on the smaller one, because then it'll move around better, especially around here, because I got compacted dirt and it's not like concrete. So I bought this. I'm not going to open it, but I will when I get it attached to my trailer and do a quick what do I think about this thing. But what I do want to show you is this. So I've seen some reviews on them. I had to break down and buy this because my Graco True Coat 360, it was the corded one, but it messed up, and then I tried to clean it out and take it apart, and I messed up one of the little itty bitty magic parts in there, and so far I haven't been able to find it, but I have a job that I need to do at a customer's house, so I thought, well, I'll buy this because it seems like everyone's talking about just how effing great it is, which I'm sure it's just as good as the True Coat. So let's get into this thing and see what's all up in here. So the usual unboxing is just like, it's not Christmas. Well, it kind of feels like Christmas, but it's a paint sprayer. Nowadays, most of these things are basically assembled right out of the box, which it appears this one is. So this is the paint sprayer. Let me get a little closer here for you. And it's got this, when you get a battery on here, then it sets level. But until then, it don't. So it comes with the tip. And what I like about this, my Graco, I couldn't change this tip out unless I got wrenches out and stuff. And they told you in the manual not to do that. But I did it anyway. And so this is nice because this is just your average standard. Sorry, I'm doing that bad for you. I don't mean to be a dick. It's just your normal, paint head and cool shit. Little cartridge in there, I bet. You can change it. So there's that, which I find totally cool. As always, all the stuff. I think everything that comes from Harbor Freight these days, even the Bauer stuff, has a really nice quality build feel to it. With the this is pretty slight on the over molding, but it looks really good. And then this thing here, I think they've redone this to go from prime to spray. So we'll play around with it a little bit here. So you get the manual, yay, and what appears to be a pretty cool quick start guide, which is always handy because if you don't use this for a month or two, every once in a while you gotta go, what's this thing? So that is nice. And it looks to be pretty nicely done. Comes with some of these little containers, and they go up in here. So when you put your paint in there, it can pull it out and it creates a vacuum, and you don't use as much paint. Really easy to clean up. This is the same as my gray coat, but what I was hoping, this is one of the ones that I had with my gray coat, and I bought like 100 of them because I hate trying to reuse them. But I'm thinking they're a little bit different. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little tall. We'll go in there. I guess I could smash the shit out of it and then screw that on there. I mean, not like that's ever in any directions I've ever read that say screw the shit out of it. But you're going to smash it to put the paint in anyway. I'll try it once I start doing stuff, but like I say, I still have about 80 of these left over, and you only get 4 of these, but they fit nice. So they seem to be the same thickness. That's a plus. This is the exact same one that's on my Graco True Coat, just a little shorter on this end. So I'm pretty sure this is almost a knockoff or made by the same people. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. And then, but wait, you also get some pump guard. You can see that. So that's good. And then I bought another one because that's why my other one quit working. I was always running paint thinner and water through it, and that keeps it really slick and oily and easy to clean. But the reality is there's still water, even if it's a small portion. When it separates out, there's spots of water in there that can rust. So this won't do it, so I'm going to stop doing that stupid thing with the water and the paint thinner. I mean, it's good to run it through your gun when you're really cleaning it out before you put this in, because you just put this in and then spray it through and let it set. So, it's like 12, 13 bucks or whatever the hell it is. You can get the Graco or the other brands that are blue, but I'm sure it's the same thing. So you try to minimize, wasting it too much. Back to Christmas. Okay, awesome. Okay, so it comes with 2 tips. So this is the 312, and how you do that is the 3 times 2 is 6. So you'll get a 6-inch pattern, and then the 12 is the orifice size, which means nothing to me. And then this is a 5/14, so then you'd have a 10-inch spray pattern. So that's kind of nice, and it's on these little things here. My other ones don't have them from my old paint guns and stuff. It comes with the little doodad in here, one for each. I'll open. So we can get a little brush, which is probably awesome. I don't know. It's got a shoulder strap. I guess, you might need that. There's a cute little, it's like a little needle pin thing. I don't know if you can see that. Fairly sharp. I think that's for cleaning out the orifices and stuff. When you're painting and stuff and you want to clean up, you can clean it out if it gets screwy-looey. This is a little cover, kind of cute looking doodad, and that's for the little nozzle that goes right on here. So when you're blowing the air excess out of here, it'll come out that hole, and then when you're done, all you got to do is seal it up, and it can't suck air back in there, so it keeps a nice vacuum in your bag. So that's pretty badass. A really pretty tag. Clean sprayer immediately after every use. That's something that would probably have kept my Graco working. And then returns not accepted, but it does have a warranty. I think 90 days or something like that if it totally crashes and burns. But if I open it and I don't like it, because I think, oh, this is kind of crappy, I wish it was then you can't take it back unless you pay a restocking fee, which I wouldn't do because I want it, I need it. I'm happy for it. Alright, so there's that. Shoulder strap, 2 of those things. Oh, check that shit out. Little O-rings for something in there, which is kind of handy because, you know, some of the paints that you spray through here, if they're lacquer based, they can eat this up if you leave it in there too long. And then you got to get a new one, and you're like, well, what size was it? Now that it's all exploded out because it, you know, lacquer turns it into fluff. So that's kind of cool. That, and oh, awesome! Look at that. Comes with a little extension doodad, which you can put on here, and that raises it up another, I guess about an inch. So if you have a bigger, like an 8 or a 12 amp hour battery, then it'll still set level, is what I'm thinking. So right now, see, that would allow for a bigger battery. I don't know if you can see that. And without that on there, it was like I think a 3 amp battery or maybe a 5, and then this gets bigger. So that is kind of awesome. I got big batteries, so I'll just leave that on there. These, that shit. I hope you're enjoying this review because it cost me $220 to do it for you. I'm just kidding, I'm not messing with you. I really needed this. And by the look and feel of it, even these parts here and stuff are real damn nice. I mean, actually, it has a better quality feel than my $300 and some True Coat 360 with the variable speed trigger. This has 2 speeds, which even on my variable speed one, I usually just crank it up. If you need to change the amount of paint you're putting on something, you can put it on low, you know, or the first speed, whatever that is, low, and then just use your tip orifice sizes, because they'll have like a 312 or a 3 smaller one or a 3, you know, so that the orifice size gets bigger even though the spray pattern stays at 6 inch. Spray pattern. I cut myself the other day farting around and doing something with this razor knife, and now I'm trying to do it again probably. Spray pattern width. So it tells you all this stuff right here. The width, and it's reversible, so when they get clogged up, I don't know if you've ever used these kind of paint sprayers, but if the tip starts spraying weird and getting funny, you just let your hand off the trigger, and then you flip the tip around. I'll show you in just a second, and then it sprays out the other direction and cleans it if there's something kind of in there. It's pretty cool that it does that. Spray pattern 8 to 10 inch. Tip size orifice 0.014 inch. Maximum pressure 4,050. I think this only does 2,000. So, all right. Now the trick to putting these things in here is they go in this little hole here, and then it only fits in one way, like that. That little keyway there, if you can see it, fits in that, and then it just turns and locks. You know, and that's how you would turn it around if you're painting and stuff. But first, you need to put this little bad boy in there. And let me see if I can show you this. So it has this little thing that you can put on there on the inside, and then you can hold this. And you kind of see how it has that little horseshoe shape. That has to go in from underneath here into this doodad. And then when you get it in there, you turn it to where it fits in the horseshoe, spin around and do some fucking thing. Oh, there we go. So there, now you can kind of see it's in there. And when you turn it one way, you spray, the other way it cleans. And now it stays in there because this all can't come flying out of there, which is kind of nice. So for this unboxing part of it, that is part one anyway. And then I will do the next thing when I get in my shop this weekend. I'll add it to it, and then I can edit it down. So that's where I'm going to be for the next couple days, is working, and then I'll do that. So once I get paint in here and get it all set up the right way, I can show you putting paint in it and priming it and blasting it and see how it works. Trigger sounds really smooth and nice, which is always a good thing, because when sometimes the trigger's a little cheapy. It's very solid, nice trigger action. That makes me happy. I guess this little loop here is for the shoulder harness, which I don't know if that would be cool or not. I don't know. All right, well, that's that for the unboxing portion and kind of a quick overview of what we got. And then we'll go to my shop, like I said, run some paint through it, check it out, clean it real quick, and give you an idea of how it is to work with it. I think it's going to be great. I mean, I've watched a lot of videos and everybody says it works great. A few of them said it kind of sucked as far as the priming of it goes. But that's just a trick with every paint gun you get. And there's always like a little weird, you know, hold your tongue this way, or, you know, whatever. But most people, once they got the priming of it down and getting it running right, it works fantastic. So I'm pretty excited to use it. I have a job coming up in a couple weeks, so that's why I needed that, because I don't think my other one's going to be working, and I don't want to take the chance for $200 and whatever it was with tax and the primer stuff, which I can't really count. That's that. So stay tuned for part two, which will be connected to part one. So boom, bye. I am using the paint sprayer, the Bauer 20v Airless paint sprayer. It is doing a really nice, smooth job. And as you know, I used to use the Bauer 360, and just to get the little replacement pump and parts would have cost more than this Bauer. As I said, it does come with paint tips, which were nice. And this is the one that I'm using, that is the 514, so it's a 14 millimeter or centimeter orifice, and the 5 means that times 2 would be a 10-inch spray pattern. Let's just test that theory out over here. Yep, it's about 10-inch, and it doesn't sputter or nothing. So I put a few coats on here, and I need to do one more, so let's take a look-see. So it's laying down the paint quite well. Normally I wouldn't put this much paint on it, but this was some baseboard that the guy already had in his house when we took it off. And apparently the carpet layers had used their razor knife to trim in the carpet and put that scratch in there. And he said, just go ahead and paint it. He did sand it, but he didn't fill in those scratches. And so I'm trying to get it to look a little better. So I just wanted to add this to the video and show you how well it's working. I haven't used it much. This is actually the first time. And I just added the paint. I did thin it a little bit because the paint he had was quite thick. I think it would have been fine. But I thought if I thinned it, I could put 4 coats on here and maybe fill in those scratches. But there's no problems with it pulling paint out. I just dumped it in. I primed it the way I used to do my Graco and switched it over to paint from prime, and off I went. So I'm gonna refill the thing so I can do some more painting. And last 2 times I did that, I didn't show you, and I thought, you know, let me do that now. All right, so the one thing I did like about the Graco 360 was this top part came off, and it wasn't, you know, then I could disconnect it easier and re-thread it easier. But it's not that problematic, really. According to the safety rules, I should lock my trigger. Already got paint on shat. This thing's gonna look like it's 100 years old after just one painting. And so I left it about 1 inch from the top, and that works out pretty good, I think. And priming it is pretty easy. It doesn't have a lot of threads, so it's kind of hard to know if you got it right. Usually if I get one of these lined up, then I'm in pretty good shape. So then take this little plug out here. And then when you start squeezing it, air can come out of here, and I tilted it back just so the bubble is over there. And once it stops and kind of spits, it's good shapes, and then you can put that pin back in there, that little plug. Then I just put it on prime, which is, there's a little bit of a gap here, so you know it's on prime. Turn off the doodad, and then I just run it for a bit. And then I do this and flip it back to paint. And then I'm in good shape. And so that's how quick and easy it is to get that refilled and primed and ready to go for some more. So just thought I'd share that with you. Pretty easy. I mean, these things, even the Graco 360 is kind of messy. I guess if you had a bucket to stick something in, but the motor doesn't really like that. My other paint rig, I just put the handle, the sprayer and the hose down in a bucket of water and paint thinner. And then that way, each time I got to do something, I can just take it out, let it drip off, and then spray. So this thing don't get plugged up, you know, because there's time in between coats. And what I do is just set this thing down in a pan of water. Normally, I put this in a pan of water. It's about up to here. And then I just lay it in there like that. So it's only the tip is getting wet, none of the motor and any of that. And then that way it keeps it from crusting up and drying out, because I'm kind of OCD on that. So that's how that works. Back to work. So it's working out great. Hope you enjoyed the little review and unboxing. Like the video if you did like it. If you didn't like it, well, thumbs down. I need any criticism, good or bad. Be sure to share it if you know anyone that's thinking about getting one of these. And subscribe. I do a lot of these tool reviews lately and a lot of the DIY stuff. So alrighty, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.